how much has fatherhood changed you? Do you wish that you had done it earlier? Do you think it made you a better person overall?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I've got kids from, you know, I've had kids since I was 28.
Oh, okay. Because I saw that you had like 2 teenagers on Wikipedia, but you had young kids when you were younger too?
Yeah, I got 27, 20.
Okay, so you've been the whole way. You've seen them turn into full blown adults. Got it.
Yeah, 24. So yeah,
definitely. Did you feel like when you look at that, it was like I feel like having a 4-year-old is probably one of the most transformative things that I've ever gone through in terms of changing me as a person.
Yeah, I think it's great. Like I love being a dad. It's probably one of my favorite things. So
definitely
raising them, so they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, because I spent like so much of my life just working, grinding, just constantly trying to be something, and then all of a sudden you have this thing in your life that is fleeting because it's just getting older and older by the day, and you realize like if I don't spend time and enjoy being with my kid right now, that this is going away. Like that they're going to be a 5-year-old one day, they're not going to be a 2-year-old forever. And I mean, I don't know, something about that really kind of makes you want to slow down and enjoy life a little bit more.
Oh yeah, no, I love being around my kids, doing stuff with them. I would spend, they're awesome.
Definitely. When you were when I saw you in the airport in Chicago, what were you doing? Because I always wonder, like, what are the different little opportunities that you get as a guy in your position?
My buddies have a company, a proper payments company. They do for dental stuff. And dental companies, and they were promoting I was helping them go to they had a big convention there, and was helping them just get people to listen to them and talk to them.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it was cool. It was fun.
That says a lot. If your name rings bells enough that they want you around, even for something that has like absolutely nothing to do with what you've done with your life. Huh?
Right. Yeah. No, it's kind of nice. It's fun.
Definitely. Okay. I also was just curious about like how would you rate yourself in terms of where you're at health wise and mind wise in comparison to a lot of the other dudes of your generation? Like in terms of health, we've seen like a lot of variety.
Harder to compare. I mean, for me, my body held together pretty dang well for what I put it through. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had partial knee replacement. I've had a couple of levels fused in my neck. But for the most part, I mean, I'm fairly healthy. Still working out, still getting back in shape. Got out of shape for a little bit over the last couple of years, but trying to get back in shape a little bit more.
Yeah. Do you feel like you have license to just like get fat and just do whatever, or do you feel like you want to for yourself like stay in the best shape you can?
Yeah, for some of that for a little while, going through a lot of stuff, doing a lot of things, and thinking like there was a time when I felt like after I retired, like I did everything. What else am I going to do? What am I going to do now?
Right.
But like part of that comes back to the kids. I'm raising my kids, and one of the things that I want them to see the guy that got there, not and how he lived, not the guy that's resting on what he did before. So I want to say it because it's a lot easier to tell kids things, but they follow examples,
right?
So I've always been that kind of guy. I was always the lead by example guy. I don't like telling people to do things I'm not willing to do or I'm not going to go do.
Right.
So it's kind of had to remind myself, hey, you're still raising some impressionable kids, so you gotta.
Right.
You gotta do things a little different.
I heard you talking about that, how, you're always training for the fight, for the match, for something coming up. And then all of a sudden you retire and you don't really have that thing that you're working towards. And I've seen that with I was in the BMX world for like 20 years in terms of freestyle bike riding and everything. And there's a lot of sides when I look back at a lot of these guys who seem like they kind of just got to the point where just life wasn't exciting enough for them and they just couldn't handle it anymore at a certain point.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm one of the lucky ones. I mean, I put together a career and a name and whatever, that I was still able to do a lot of things and still able to get a lot of, have a lot of opportunities business wise. Right. So, I could see where it's a lot harder if someone that didn't quite make enough money or didn't, struggling.
If you had all these accolades and everything, but then you also were just broke as had no opportunities. That's got to hit a lot harder. But in terms of your own mental health, did you like seek therapy, or was there anything in particular that kind of like got you into a better mind state once you didn't have something that you were waiting for and building up towards?
I'm not sure what clicked, but it was one of those things just moving along. And I think having kids, I started out just raising my kids was a big thing. I'm going to focus on this now.
Right.
I'm going to do this for a while.
Yeah.
This seems fun.
Definitely.
I can hang out with my kids. I can, I think we had nannies for a little while, and it was funny because the nanny's like, this is the weirdest nanny job I ever had. I never work with I don't work with the kids.
Really?
Because I was always with the kids.
Right.
I just want you to clean the house and do this stuff and do that stuff and watch them when me and my wife have to go to a thing. I want to spend time with my kids. That's how I'm freeing my time up so I can do stuff with them.
Oh, see, I got to keep that in mind, because that's sometimes I just kill myself doing podcasts and stuff to such an extent that it's like I just don't see them enough, and it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's a balance, because it's tough. Like you got to make choices, and that's kind of like. I used to always say I price myself out of stuff sometimes, and oh man, you're giving that. Well, that's kind of the price where the advantage to my kids and the family, that money, that's big enough to warrant me being gone.
You're talking about
you're not paying me to show up for 3 hours.
Right.
You're paying for me to leave my house and get back to my kids.
Right.
And
that can be kind of a weird feeling when in the past, somebody wants to pay me X amount of dollars to do something at a strip club or go out to some event or whatever, and you kind of realize like, damn, I just gave up X amount of dollars to hang out with my kid and go to this soccer game or whatever it is. Yeah. And, I chose that. Like I would gladly do that again, but there's like another version of me that looks at that dollar amount and is like, I really should not be taking that dollar amount for granted, because there might be a point in the future where that just seems like way too much to say no to.
Right. And I figure that's kind of one of the things. I figure that I'll cross that bridge when it happens,
Right.
So that always fluctuates depending on what your needs are, right?
Mm-hmm. I just met a dude the other day and we start talking. I get the vibe right away that he's a rich dude, and I ask him what he does, and he says basically nothing. And then he starts to explain that he had started this website back in the 90s. And he ended up selling it. And I looked it up later and he sold it for like $1 billion or some shit like that. So I'm talking to him about his lifestyle. And he's basically like, yeah, pretty much just like hang out with my kids and just, take care of the house, stuff like that. And in that moment, it was so weird to be talking to somebody who sounds like they're basically like post money. Like they just aren't really thinking about the money side of things, because they've just got enough that they just don't even have to do that. So they're able to look at their life and just 100% focus on whatever makes them happy. And most human beings just will never get to that point, both of us included, where it's just,
exactly.
there's a bag that's getting me off the couch. There's a bag that's making me miss important moments in my kid's life, and I'm talking to a dude and kind of realizing like he doesn't seem like he's gonna have to make that decision. It's just the money thing is taken
nice.
care
I'd
of.
love to get there someday, but
yeah,
but that's a tough one to get to.
No, definitely.
Okay, so you just saw the clip, but did you know that you can watch this entire interview right now before it's released to the public, uncensored, by becoming a member for just $5 a month? And there's a lot of other crazy benefits as well. So make sure you hit the link down in the description and sign up. Appreciate y'all.